and welcome to This Week in Baltimore Eating with me, Richard Gorelick. Join us here every Thursday at 12:30 to talk about everything food-related in Baltimore. Hey, This Week in Baltimore Eating is brought to you by Eddie's of Roland Park, where they're as obsessed with delicious food as we are. Check out the new made-from-scratch scones in Eddie's Bakery on Roland Avenue and North Charles Street in Baltimore. I have a guest today. I'm not Amanda. And you're not Richard. You're not me.
I'm not you.
You're Nate.
I'm Nate.
You're Nate Tyson.
I'm Nate Tyson.
And say hello to everybody, Nate.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
I brought Nate along because Nate's been in the restaurant business off and on.
I have. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I have experience as a server and a bartender. I served first down in Bowie, Maryland.
Bowie.
Yes, at a little sort of mom and pop place, the Old Bowie Town Grill.
Old Bowie Town.
Yeah, shout out to them. And then up here, I was bartending at the Laughing Pint up until recently.
The Laughing Pint up in
Highlandtown.
Highlandtown.
Yeah.
And bartending. So let's get back to that.
Well, we can get back to that.
Back to that. But you know what Sunday is?
Sunday is Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. And I went online and looked at some places where I thought it would be good to take your mother for Mother's Day. But in general, the idea of Mother's Day brunch seems like work.
It is almost always work from what I see.
For everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is it worth it for mom? I mean, if mom is into it, then it's probably worth it.
Having worked when I worked at the restaurant down in Bowie,
Right.
because we were family owned, we were very community oriented. We had a very special Mother's Day brunch, sort of mimosas, etc., a sort of special menu. And most of the people that I served were very stressed out.
That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And listen, if it's your intention to go out for Mother's Day brunch, by all means do it. If you're on the fence about it, maybe not. I mean, maybe here's something, because we still want people to go out and eat at restaurants. I thought about this. Early dinner.
I like that idea.
On Mother's Day. So find a restaurant that serves an early dinner and do that instead. Because brunch can be stressful anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I find brunch to be stressful in restaurants.
It's an odd in-between time where people are going to be late or early or...
and the staff is, I don't want to say they're hungover, but maybe they're tired, the staff. And the setup for brunch at a restaurant's different than every other time of the week. Eggs are not, I don't think it's easy to produce a lot of eggs.
I've never worked in the kitchen, but I have friends who have, and eggs are not the funnest from what I understand, especially en masse.
Easy, and people are really funny about their eggs, I found, to a point where if I was a restaurant, I would just serve eggs one way, and people would just take it or leave it. But go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, on your point about early dinner, that's how my family does every holiday we can, is the earlier the dinner, the better. We would eat at 3 p.m. on every single special occasion if we could. Just get it out of the way.
I really, really like that. So if you're having trouble finding reservations for Mother's Day, do consider early dinners. I found one at Cosima, which is along Falls Road. It's really pretty, kind of feels like the kind of place that mom would like, or it doesn't feel like a steakhouse. And the Elephant up in Mount Vernon.
Okay,
have a nice
I've heard of
brunch. They're filling up. Donna's at Cross Keys. They might be full. I want to hear from people if you're watching the show or listening, and we'd like you to chime in. Where are you taking your mother for Mother's Day? Have you done the Mother's Day thing in Baltimore?
I have not. My mom tends to want to do stuff just at the house.
Yeah.
She's very much get everyone in the same room for minimum 2 hours, and then we can all go our separate ways.
That's what we do, too. That's what we do. Maybe a little bit longer than 2 hours. But I like the separate ways thing.
Yeah.
I do. Brewer's Art. I like the idea of Brewer's Art.
That could be fun, especially if your family enjoys beer. If they are you all like drinking together, that's gonna be really fun.
And upstairs is kind of formal and pretty. I keep making moms seem like they'll only like a place that's pretty, but some moms like a place that's...
There are plenty of moms who like dirty,
Dirty.
places.
Dirty, grungy moms who like a good cigar after dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
I found some place for them too. The Wreck Pier Chop House in the Pendery Hotel.
Oh, I've never
down
heard
in
of this.
Fells Point. Yeah, it's a big posh new hotel at the foot of Broadway in Fells Point. They've got a Mother's Day buffet. I'm gonna make you guess how much the Mother's Day buffet is.
Okay, Mother's Day buffet. So my
Since I'm bringing it up, you know
yeah,
it's going to be high.
It's good. Okay,
It's
that's
the highest I found.
ooh. I'm gonna say $40.
Higher.
Ooh, $50.
No,
a
it's
plate?
higher than that.
What? $60 a plate.
No, it's a buffet. It's a buffet.
Okay,
And
or I guess for
80. It's 80.
80.
80. And I'll have to go back and look and see what you get with it. Whether you get bottomless mimosas or.
Yeah.
Do you know the bottomless mimosa joke? I mean, that's not a joke. It's like a. I would call it a meme.
I'd like to hear.
Okay. Neighborhood Facebook pages. Like Canton neighbors or
Yeah,
Patterson Park
I'm
neighbors.
I'm on next door Highland Town. Yeah.
I would say every other post for a while. I'd say for a solid year, almost every third post was, "Hey gang, bottomless mimosas in Canton, go!" And it would just be people asking which brunch places in Canton had bottomless mimosas.
That's extraordinarily on brand for Canton, I think.
And here's the thing about mimosas is they make me really tired, mimosas, and they make my stomach hurt because of all the
Yeah, there's a lot of acid.
a lot of acid, and usually it's not champagne that they're giving you. It's some kind of cheap sparkling
Brut
wine
or whatever. Yeah.
that comes in individual bottles. We used to use those when I was tending bar for brunch.
Oh yeah, I had the little prosecco guys at the Pint. So
Right.
we actually had some nice ones at the Pint, but anywhere else I worked, it was you bought a case of Brut or
Yep.
I forget what the other.
Freshenet, what's that in the black bottle?
Yeah.
So if you like bottomless mimosas, you can have mine. Like I'll order it and just give it to you because I don't like them. What is your son? Are you a Bloody Mary person?
I am much more of a Bloody Mary guy. My palate tends towards
Me
savory
too.
and sort of like intense taste, and so I had a period of time where I was making my own Bloody Marys.
Yeah. Let's talk about Bloody Mary mix.
So my favorite mix is Zing Zang, I think is the name. It's a sort of a green and black striped bottle. It's delicious. It's very flavorful, and I think it's a good base. But then some Worcestershire, some Tabasco, some pickle juice.
Did you say horseradish? Is that
Horseradish. I like a lot of horseradish in mine, but I also find that sometimes people, I guess it's different horseradish products.
Yeah.
It can gum up the drink.
It gets stuck in your straw.
Mm-hmm.
Gets stuck in your straw and makes a mess. They're hard to wash. When you wash all your glasses, you still have horseradish residue on the bottom of your glass. If you just got here, you are watching This Week in Baltimore Eating with Richard Gorelick. I have a special guest today, Nate Tyson. And this show is brought to you by Eddie's of Roland Park. Wouldn't Mom love... Here, this is something if people want to stay home. Wouldn't Mom love Eddie's Jumbo Lump Crab Cakes or the rich coconut cake on her special day? You'll find lots of unique cards and gifts at Eddie's too. So that's for people that want to stay home. Oh, be sure to comment, like, and share, and follow us at JMoreEating. Hashtag JMoreEating. Openings and closings.
Yeah, there have been a lot.
Yeah, we used to sort of not spend much time on this little show on openings and closings, but now almost every week. But no big closings last week.
None that I was aware of.
Yeah. I think that Rachel's in Riverside closed, but
Okay.
I'm not sure that ever got much traction. But God bless them and good luck to them. But here's some good news, Nate. The Wine Market Bistro closed in Locust Point a couple months ago or last month. But the owner of the Wine Market Bistro is planning to reopen the space as a restaurant next month.
Oh, nice.
So that's Christopher Spahn is the owner of Wine Market Bistro. It closed in March. He's going to upgrade and redesign the whole place and reopen it next month as Ludlow Market Bar and Bottle Shop. Ludlow Market Bar and Bottle Shop.
Rolls off the tongue.
It does.
It's a good name.
Ludlow. I don't know what that name. Oh, I figured out what Ludlow means, but that doesn't matter. And Poppy's Tacos. Poppy's Tacos in Fells Point has been looking to expand, they say, for years, and they finally found a place near here.
That's
in
fantastic.
Hamden,
I love Poppy's.
at the old Dimitri's Tavern on Falls Road. So that's going to have outdoor seating. It's going to be more of their Mexican street food. You haven't been part, Nate, of our ongoing conversations about what seems like a rash of restaurant closings this year in Baltimore. But there have been a lot. And the Baltimore Sun did an article earlier this week trying to diagnose what's the matter with the industry. Do you have any feelings or insight?
So I guess the most recent closing that I saw was the Corner Charcuterie in Hamden,
Right.
which it's sad to see that go. I think it's a really nice building. I've only eaten there a couple times, but it seemed like there were extenuating circumstances there.
Sometimes, well, that's the thing. When you go one by one through all these restaurants, sometimes there are extenuating circumstances that have nothing to do with the state of the industry or the state of Baltimore as a attractive destination. The Baltimore Sun wondered whether people who live in the outlying suburbs are still coming into Baltimore. They asked sort of a couple people what they thought, and those people said, no, I don't want to come. But I don't know how true that is. There's the state of the economy in general.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are eating in.
Yes.
A lot of people are doing that.
That came up too. Millennials, any conversation that
millennials.
includes where millennials seems doomed to be end up in generalities, but they apparently don't like
No.
to eat out as much.
Well, I think it's a necessity thing.
Yeah.
It's people are prioritizing the way they spend money differently, and having only been in the Baltimore industry or service industry for about a year and a half before I left the Pint, I think I noticed a slowdown in the last year I was there. In my neighborhood, there are a couple different bars, and I know one of them, Snake Hill Tavern.
Yeah.
I was friends with all the bartenders there, and there was a weird slow season for a while. It was inexplicable, and it happened at the Pint too.
And places like the Laughing Pint, which if you don't know, the Laughing Pint in Highlandtown is super charming, favorite, could easily be your favorite neighborhood bar after one visit type place.
It was my favorite place before I worked there.
Right.
So.
And then Snake Hill's newer from the owners of Johnny Rod's in Fells Point, or is that Canton? And
I think it's closer to Fells Point. It's sort of between.
Yeah.
It's near Patterson. It's past Patterson Park towards Fells.
So it's right across from Patterson Lanes, Johnny Rod's, and those are great places. Those are the type of places that should be kind of impervious to fluctuations. But even if they're struggling a little bit, it means people's habits might be changing.
Well, and those are owners who people come out and support too.
Yes.
They're popular guys. People know them around the city. And Snake Hill is a sausage bar.
Yes.
They not exclusively, but they focus on serving various sausage, vegan options as well, but just a crazy assortment. And it wasn't even during the winter. I'm not sure when it was, but we hit a slow season that they, I think, are just now pulling out of, essentially, when I talked to them about it.
Yeah, it's no accident that Restaurant Week is scheduled for late January. I mean, we all know that restaurants slow down in winter, but they should be picking up now. But I think there's some dips. I was talking to a restaurant owner last night on my walk home, and he said, I had no idea that things were this volatile. I mean, it could be just it's the weather sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there was a bit of a. Am I looking for balloon here, or sort of the bubble? The bubble.
Yeah.
There might have been a bubble that we weren't aware of.
There might have been a restaurant bubble. There might have been where things kept expanding and expanding, but there are maybe not as many people who are, especially with the younger generation, there might not be as many people around to spend their money on dining as entertainment.
That's true.
That's why the food court, like our house and Mount Vernon Marketplace, is so appealing to people, because they don't have to commit to a full evening. People's attention spans are so short. I don't think people can sit in their chairs for 2 hours for a long meal.
I am somebody who that's a quality of mine. I have a very short attention span.
I'm kind of famous for when the meal's over, I'm usually the first who wants to leave.
You and I would be looking at each other across the table trying to communicate that we wanted to leave if that was the case.
Yeah, there goes Richard. He's standing up. I guess dinner's done. Yes, I got ants in my pants. I got spookies in the connectors.
Oh, me too, absolutely.
So, when Amanda's here, we usually talk about places we've gone out to recently. But I've slowed down as a consumer too. How about you? Have you been out?
I have not gone out as of late. I think the last place that I checked out was for a nice meal out. Was Of Love and Regret.
Oh yeah,
over near me. I think it's in Canton, but it's only a few blocks from.
I think that's Brewers Hill.
Oh, you're right. It is Brewers Hill.
I used to know my neighborhoods.
Yes. And of course, I'm in an area where there are especially quite a few intersecting smaller neighborhoods. Yep. But I loved Of Love and Regret. I had a really good time there. I went there for, at the time, an anniversary dinner, and it was very sweet. It was a very nice place.
That's by the owner of, originally, I don't think anymore, but founded by the owner of Stillwater Beers.
Yes, and the restaurant, which I assumed Of Love and Regret was a line from a poem that I didn't know or sounded familiar. It, I believe, is the name of a beer that they brewed that was, and I don't want to get myself in trouble by saying this is fact, so this might be something I made up. I think it was the women really especially liked this beer. And they were talking about things that women like, and I think Of Love and Regret was somehow poetically said, and they decided that was the name.
I could tell you that I really liked that place, but it was hard to write about only because it was hard to fit that restaurant's name in the middle of a sentence somehow. Because of the preposition. It was...
Yeah, they're digging themselves a hole, right?
Yeah,
right
it was a name hole. Name holes. Sometimes a restaurant will open, and you'll see the name, and you'll think... I'll give them 6 months because it'll either be unsearchable through we did have a sad closing. I'm sorry. The little barbecue joint on Greenmount Avenue, which was called BBQ, closed unexpectedly. And people really, really, really liked that place and wanted to support it in a way that people want to support black-owned businesses in Baltimore.
I do have some place that I went to recently, and it is a small barbecue place. Big Bad Wolf in Hamilton. So I lived in Hamilton briefly for about less than a year, several years ago. I wouldn't even have considered myself a Baltimorean at the time, and I decided the other day to check back in and see if they were still there, and they still are. And I got my Big Bad Wolf sandwich, which is all the meats combined.
Yeah,
and that place is so good.
We should really be talking barbecue someday. Hey, this has been fun.
It has been really fun.
Nate, thank you for coming in and talking about food and keep the discussion going right underneath where you're watching this. Tune in every Thursday at 12:30 for This Week in Baltimore Eating, which has been brought to you by Eddie's of Roland Park. Visit Eddie's for Rosendorf Challah, Michelle's Granola, Naran Chocolates, and more local flavors you know and love. Visit eddiesofrolandpark.com. Everybody, see you next week. Have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Bye.